So I just wanted to do a review of the Bill Simmons podcast. Bill Simmons podcast has been one of my favorite podcasts for the past 10 years. It I've watched it since I was like a teenager, I think. Um and it used to be called the BS Report, and now since he left ESPN, he's I guess he works for Spotify now, but he created the Ringer and then he sold it to Spotify. But basically, he mostly talks about sports on his podcast, so it's really cool. Um, so yeah, I've always thought it was one of my favorite podcasts, but and it's been going on for so long. He's been making podcasts before they got popular, but he's been making them for so long. Um, it's just like uh, yeah, he specializes in basketball. He talks a lot about basketball and how he actually wrote the book of basketball. Like in 2009, I think the book of basketball came out. So he he's really knowledgeable about basketball, and so he talks a lot about that. And so yeah, I was just listening to a show about the NBA playoffs. Like he was just talking about the NBA playoffs. I actually don't even really watch the NBA playoffs. I just like him. I like listening to him talk about the NBA playoffs because it the way he describes the players and how they interact with the teams, it's really exciting. And and um, and then Ryan Russillo was his main guest. Now he used to have Joe House do these NBA episodes, but like 10 years ago, he used to have like Joe House do these NBA episodes. But now he has Ryan Russillo, who used to work for ESPN, but then ESPN kind of went down the tubes because what happened with them? Well, they had some budget cuts because less people watch cable TV now because everyone's watching podcasts or Netflix or whatever, or YouTube or whatever. So now they have these budget cuts at ESPN. So people like Ryan Russillo are going to Bill Simmons' podcast to talk about basketball or whatever. So um, yeah, but Simmons is really knowledgeable about the subject, and he also talks a lot about music too. And he's one of the people who made wanted me get into making content because he was so good at it. And so it's just yeah, I've always thought Bill Simmons has one of the best podcasts on the internet. He might be the first podcast I ever listened to. I mean, there were probably others in the around the 2008 era. It was on 2008 I started listening to it. It was when the Celtics and the Lakers were in the NBA Finals. Um, that's when I started listening to it. Right before the Heat got LeBron and Chris Bosh and the Big Three, that's when I really started to listen to it was called the BS Report back then. And of course, he has on other guests. He talks about movies and stuff. He had on Barack Obama at one time on the show, and he doesn't really have politicians normally, but he he has famous people on there too. He has like Matt Damon on before. He's had the lead singer of Pearl Jam was on there because I think Pearl Jam is his favorite band. So um, I know it sounds like a book report, but um, it's not very in depth. But so what else? Um, that's all I can think of to say about that. Anyways, but he's got a whole podcast network he's created on the Ringer, and there's like it's like 50 podcasts on the Ringer, and then Spotify bought the Ringer, and now Bill Simmons is making podcasts for Spotify. So um, it's a whole industry. So uh, the yeah, so he's really the Bill Simmons is the expert with podcasts. So it's really fascinating. Uh, how much he can talk about sports, and I've learned so much about sports just by listening to him because I've always watched sports casually, but listening to him, he's so passionate about it that I can actually have a conversation with someone in depth about the subject more than I could before. But I've always watched ESPN. It's just Bill Simmons brings like movie references and TV references to the whole thing, so it's makes it more exciting. Anyways, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the Bill Simmons podcast. Please subscribe to this channel to be part of the community. And by the way, I give his podcast 2 thumbs up. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye bye.